Welcome to week one, the first video. This is the absolute basics, the foundation. So if you're already a roofing contractor, feel free to either skip the video and go on to the next module, or just watch on 2x speed, just in case there's something you may want to know or don't know. So right now, I'll probably be talking to you sales reps out there that are looking to branch out on your own and start your own roofing company. Let's get started. Don't burn bridges. You will be surprised how many times you have to cross the same river. So this is super important. I know you're probably just wanting to try to make your moves because you don't want anyone stopping you from doing that or anything hindering your plans or anything getting in the way. I get it. Trust me, I was there. But I promise you, the roofing world is a lot smaller than you think it is. Have an upfront conversation with your owner. Still plan, but don't just all of a sudden quit and then 2 weeks later you have your own company. Make sure you let them know. Next thing, figure out what type of trade or work you want to do. For instance, do you want to do roofing? Do you want to do siding? Do you want to do metal work? Do you want to do asbestos? There's different certifications or requirements depending on what you want to do. Personally, I would suggest just start off with the basics. So for us, start off with roofing, and then we got more certifications and different licensing as we went along. Check your state and federal requirements. Maryland, I put the link right there, so feel free to click. There's a whole host of requirements. We're going to get through some of them, but each state is very specific. Feel free to click on the other two links if you're in a different state. For instance, IKO, everyone knows if you're in roofing, the shingle manufacturer, they list literally every single requirement by state, and then so does Next Insurance. After that, choose your business structure. So are you doing it on your own? I decided to do a partnership. So if you're doing it with a buddy, it's a partnership. If you wanted to have a team, LLC, big leagues in terms of like C corporations, I would say that for this part, we actually spent a lot of money just because we wanted to get everything right from the ground up, including partnership agreements, make sure things are legally binding. So we chose a tax attorney who was able to guide us on, hey, right now it may not make sense for a C corporation, not even S corporation. Let's first make your first X amount, and then we'll go from there. Professional, I am not a financial planner, so please make sure you do your own due diligence. Then, whatever state you're in, you got to register with the state. Figure out the name that you're going to use for your roofing company, and then you have to check with your state to make sure that someone's not already using it. There could be the name that you want, but someone could have already used it and went out of business, so you have to choose a different name. So just make sure you go on your state's website before you're super set on what you want, and then you already create your logos, your branding, your t-shirt and swag and all that. Check with your state. Make sure you do the process properly. For Maryland, it's through the Maryland Business Express. They honestly just revamped the entire website a few years back, and you can literally do anything from there. To legally operate in Maryland, you actually do need to register your business with the Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation. And then so a lot of times, like if you're getting into like the public workspace or bidding on certain projects, people want to make sure that you're in good standing, and that's where they would check it. If you plan to use a trade name or a DBA like doing business as, which is a different name from your actual legal business name, you got to register that as well. After you finish registering with the state, the next step is registering with the IRS. You need to get yourself an EIN number, an employer identification number. Your roofing company needs its own number for tax stuff, kind of like a Social Security, but for businesses. And it's for free, and just got to go to the IRS website and register for one. After that, you need to open up a business bank account. Very important. Keep business bank account separate from your personal bank account. We chose Chase for business banking just because it is a huge bank and it's been around for forever, and I don't think it's actually going to go anywhere. For Chase business banking, they honestly have so many different services and stuff that we can get from them, especially when starting out, where we didn't have to go to like Stripe or PayPal or anything for any other resources. We kind of just had it all under Chase. So we had card readers to where our sales reps can go out there and collect payment. We were able to process ACH payments online, deposit checks from our phone. We had multiple bank accounts as well, which we'll get into in a later class in terms of how we structure a bank account. But there's just so many different features that Chase Business Banking offers, and that's honestly why we use them. Also, plus, if you're in the military or a veteran, like for instance myself and my brother, the fees were waived. I think honestly, I don't even think we pay any fees for the Chase Business Banking, but so it's also another perk. After you're a little bit more established and you have the time to start branching out and seeing what other options are available, I would recommend finding a local bank. So for us, we decided to look at Sandy Spring. It's a local bank where we live in Maryland, and they do these cool networking events where they have to try to show why they deserve your business over some of the larger chains like Chase or Bank of America or even PNC, which is technically local, but it's still a large enough bank. So what they'll do is they'll host events. So they have events with developers, GCs, and they get a bunch of people together, and it's just a big networking session to where literally you're winning jobs and winning business because of the people that they're just putting in the same room together. The next requirement is insurance, liability insurance. It is super critical, and it is also necessary in terms of having a license in Maryland. Liability insurance helps pay for accidents so that the business doesn't have to. For example, if you have a roofing company and you accidentally damage a customer's home, this insurance pays for the damage so that you don't have to pay all the costs by yourself. The amount of liability insurance you need can vary, so please make sure you look up what your state requirements are. Maryland doesn't really set like a, hey, this is how much you need for all contractors, but the specific requirements can depend on the type of work you're doing and the size of projects. For instance, in public works, they generally set like a minimum requirement, which is 1 million per occurrence and 2 million total aggregate. Some projects or contracts might require higher, so just start off low, especially if you're starting out, and it's not hard to just increase up and go up in coverage as you grow, but scale down is a lot more difficult. So just start off at the basic requirements. This is what we started with, 1 million per occurrence and 2 million in total aggregate, and we really didn't face any problems for the first 1 to 2 years. Shop around, just like getting car insurance or home insurance. It's like there's a lot of them out there. So before you buy, just talk to a few agents or brokers who understand the roofing business, and then make sure you understand that you tell them exactly what you're doing. So this isn't the time to have your ego and be like, yeah, I'm a roofing contractor. Like, if you don't actually install the roofs, like, you may not need to pay as much in terms of your insurance and your coverage. So just make sure you're fully clear with what you do. But they'll help you figure out exactly how much coverage you need and then find the best rates. Workers' comp. This pays for the workers' medical bills and gives them some money if they can't work for a while because of an injury. For example, if a worker falls off a ladder when fixing a roof, workers' comp is like the company's way of providing first aid. Most states require employees to have workers' comp if they have 1 or more employees. That is the case with Maryland, but the specifics can vary from state to state. So, as always, if you are not in the state of Maryland, please check your local requirements. Because there are some states that allow like very small businesses or certain industries to opt out, and some also have stricter rules. Bonds. Bonds are like, it's a promise that the business will do the work or that there's money to help make things right. For example, if you do not finish the job or you don't do it well, this gives the money back to the person who hired you to fix the problem or finish the job. Or in the case of Maryland, it gives it back to the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. A surety bond is a specific type of bond. There's a couple different types, like there's bid bonds, there's performance bonds. When you start growing and getting into the commercial realm, you'll learn more about those, and we'll cover those in a later class. But for right now, for the basics, a surety bond is a type of guarantee that's often required in construction, especially roofing, to protect clients and the state against a potential loss. So it ensures that a business will comply with laws, regulations, and contracts. If the business fails to comply, the bond can provide financial compensation to the harmed party. For instance, for Maryland, we chose to get a surety bond because there was a whole big step about financial proof and financial solvency where you have to show like, hey, these are your records for the past X amount of years, these are your tax returns. Or you can pay a couple $100, get a $20,000 surety bond that goes towards a guaranteed fund, and then you're good to go. And that's what we decided to do. That's all for lesson 1. Thank you for joining me. I'll catch you on module 2. And for you new sales reps looking to branch out on your own, I wish you the best.